What is going on, guys, and welcome to the official Trackmania Grand League Fall Cast Season 2. And I welcome you as well as Eric, who is also here. Welcome, man.
Yeah, and first of all, just want to say happy birthday to you. I mean, we casted together once it was my birthday, so it's kind of funny that now we're gonna cast again in a duo cast. And
True that.
who knows, it's your birthday, so happy birthday. Let's hope this will be a great day because I have high expectations. So what do? You have high expectations? What do you want for your birthday gift?
Indeed. I just hope that we will see a banger of a match. Not so many point losses, but they are inevitably gonna happen. And yeah, just a close step. A very good opener to the season here. And yeah, just having a nice time, you know? Having a nice time, having a good cast and everything like that. So what is your expectation to this first step? You have any thoughts, any things you went into where you had like a little bit of a concern or anything like that? Anything?
I mean, asking me if I have any thoughts about Trackmania is like, of course, I will. I always think about Trackmania. It means like somebody says that men thinks about sex every 7 seconds, but I think I think about Trackmania every 7 seconds. So I have thought about Trackmania the whole day, the whole week, and it's finally just good that Trackmania Grand League is finally back. We can sort of have a day off from the drama surrounding the open letter from the Ubisoft Nadeo accusation about healers. Today is all about the players. It's all about who is the best player and who is the most prepared. And if you ask me who is most prepared, I have no idea. Most players have not shown really how much they have trained.
Indeed.
Some of them have been offline, so I don't really know who is gonna win it, but it just makes it more fun, right?
Yeah, it makes it more fun. And I mean, we have seen some exposure, for example, Spam or anything, or Riolo who practice on stream. But other than that, we didn't really see too many like English streamer now. Yeah, actually practicing the game on stream. So we don't know what Afi is doing. Maybe Gwen, but Gwen only needs 1 hour of training anyway. So it is definitely getting interesting. So, and today everyone is going all in, and we're gonna see how they are performing. So this will be very, very interesting indeed. So I joined the server and it seems to work pretty well. Are you already on the server or not? Because we can see some players already playing. I have the upper cam and this overlay looks really good actually. The in-game overlay is pretty good. Are you already in the game, Eric, or not?
Yeah, of course. I bought Trackmania, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? So I had to now finally buy Trackmania. I don't know how much I will play it, but at least I need to buy it so I can be able to cast it. So it seems to be running good. It seems to be running good on my side as well. So let's hope it's not going to be some technical problems from my side. I just want to enjoy this cast as much as possible and then enjoy this step as much as possible.
Yeah, me too. And we just gonna improve from here on. And let's actually go into the in-game layout. And I'm really interested if the overlay and everything will work out now, because we had some minor issues with that, but now everything is good. So let's go and check if everything is working out. Oh, that looks perfect. Come, only the game has to capture now. Wait, there's one thing that I have to change, because I need to hello, looking for a game to capture. Yeah, capture Trackmania, please. Wait, I'm sorry for that. Okay, now it should be fine. No? Yes? Maybe? Hello? In-game? Yeah, I think... Wait a minute. Okay, perfect. Now it works out. That's very good. I don't know why it took so long, but that's the in-game overlay here. And let's actually go with the in-game OST. Everything seems to work out. And... yeah. You hear that?
Yeah, I hear.
Ah, that's something new. You hear that? So I try to do this overlay that Eric is left and I'm on the right side. I think it's a good idea. Maybe I have to crop it a little bit at some point, but I think it is looking good. Something new that actually can see both of us here in this overlay. Maybe we're gonna change that throughout, but it's the first cast, so we are just, yeah, we're just happy that everything is working out. So perfect.
Yeah, I mean, looking at just this sort of overlay now, I think you should move me up if possible, because it seems like I'm blocking number 1 and 2. And
indeed,
I just want to ask the chat if you guys like this webcam. Personally, I'm not too fan of it, but maybe you like to see my face and Turbo's face. So let us know, because
indeed,
I guess we can change stuff up for step 2. But I guess for this step, you have to see the birthday boy, and then you have to see Mr. Useless himself here.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, I think it's a cool idea. I just wanted to implement that. I thought it's a good one. Why is the... I don't want the mouse. So just tell the opinion. I'm a bit distracted by everything because they're skipping it. I just want to change the overlay, you know? I just want to change that. But it's not possible right now since they're skipping left, right, and center. Yeah, I will move that actually. The webcam could be a bit smaller. Okay. I can do that. Let's do that actually.
But let's ask the chat what expectations they have. I mean, it's just 15 minutes until we start, so let's get some final predictions on here. Let's try to do some... I had my betting league on Discord for now 2 years, I think. But in the last season, I had this sort of side bet together with Scotsman, who I casted with then. We tried to pick one winner for overall step and then one winner for each and every map. So I want to include a chat on this. If the chat has any prediction for who is the overall winner of this step, who is going to be winning step 1, let me know, and maybe we can scroll back after this step is over to see who was the actual best better in this Discord, or this Twitch chat.
Indeed. I'm also looking forward to your bets. I have to do the overlay for now, so don't mind me. Just don't mind me.
Javelin with a pack to win. I guess that's some sort of bias, but I'll take it. Pack
I'm a
is
bit biased,
certainly
yeah,
a strong contender. He's certainly a strong contender. He won the show match, and if he continues in the same pace, I will maybe have a hard time seeing anybody else besides maybe Carl Jr. and Gwen challenging that level. So if Pack performs like he can, then he's really a good man.
He's a monster. Let's say like that. He's a monster. And I think that Pack has really good chances as well. I'm right now spectating Scrappy. So let's actually go with our boy Pack here. So let's see how he's performing here on this track, on Halfpipe. Let's see how he's doing. And yeah, I think actually you named 3 names there. You named Pack, Gwen, and Carl Jr. And that's, for me, is actually my top 3 in this step. I think that's...
In that order?
In
what order, though? What order?
Carl Jr., Pack, Gwen.
Okay.
Now comes the Gwen from come on. Gwen fanboy.
Yeah, I'm not a fanboy, it's objectively, but Gwen is a super strong player. I think Gwen is going to dominate it. I'm a little bit worried because he didn't say yes to do an interview with me. He said he has a lot, or not a lot of time, because his school is starting up. So maybe it's not his best step then. Same with Carl Jr. He's also starting up school, so he didn't have time to do interview with me. And same with Bren as well. So 3 players sadly didn't have enough time to even do a 10-minute interview, and I guess that can be a sign of them maybe not having enough time to either practice, but maybe they just want to stay away from me and not be bothered asking questions, right?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, maybe there are some secret techniques. I mean, when I watched Spam stream and he saw that Massa tuned in, he was like memeing around, oh, there's a cut and everything. You know, I think we see some things that made some other lines that people not expect, you know? I think this will happen, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I talked a bit Aurel about it, because the last thing we remember from him from Trackmania Cup was that he has 200 IQ strat and made a cut that sort of... Zerator thought it was a CP bug again, but it was just Aurel being smart.
That was really smart.
That might be some trick with, let's say, like 0.3 on one of the maps. He didn't know about it himself, but there was like a rumors within the group of players. So let's see if anybody has figured out something and has been able to keep it secret for the rest of them.
Yeah, and also I want to really stress out, you can hear the crowd, and you can also see, you can hardly see it, on the right of the map, you can see little small mannequin. There are people. Here, look at that. I think that's pretty cool. That's a really, really cool overlay. I really like that. But
it's gonna look brutal when people crash and then goes into the crowd. I mean, let's see what effects they have then. It's gonna be some blood or something.
But I just figured that out now. I'm not sure if it had loaded beforehand, but it has flushed me when I've seen that. So it's really cool. Also, the happy birthday is coming in. Thanks. So what is the best birthday present? It is definitely casting Trackmania Grand League with the beloved Eric Holdal.
Yeah, of course. And the birthday gift, like always.
Yeah, like the Game War Duo Cup that we have casted together.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was really good. That was really good indeed. Yeah, so we have 10 minutes to start, and actually for the people who don't know what Trackmania Grand League is, we have a short trailer that I'm gonna show you now. We're gonna get into there. So a little bit of psht, and then I'm gonna show you the trailer, since it is pretty good. And wait, I wanted to change the sound. Yeah, okay, perfect. So trailer comes now that will explain you briefly what the Trackmania Grand League is about.
Welcome to a Trackmania Grand League step. Let's zoom in on how a step works. Each step is played under the champion mode, which consists of 6 races taking place on 6 different maps. In each race, the 16 players will start the race at the same time and will execute 6 laps. The player with the best lap time is given 2 extra points for every race. For the first 2 maps, part of the opening phase, players get warmed up and win points according to their position. For maps 3 and 4, things heat up, and the players who finish the race in 9th to 16th place lose half of their points won from the previous maps. Every player still wins points for the maps being played based on their position. For the 2 final maps, the pressure is on and everything is at stake. Players finishing the race in 9th to 16th place lose all the points that they have won so far. In conclusion, step points are fully determined at the end of map 6. And these step points are then added to the global ranking.
Alright, so I think it's a really good explanation since this video is not really too long. So if you have any more questions, feel free to ask. I think most of the people who are in the chat, or even we, when we're not casting, will surely answer those questions. And yeah, that was a cool trailer. So yeah, we can right now here. I was speaking to Massa about this map here, since he thought that this will be the closest map here, where one small mistake can make a difference. So have you actually seen or like watched any other streams or anything like that, Eric, or are you just?
Yeah, I have watched the training streams, not maybe as much as in the past, simply because I'm more busy now. So, but I have a good overview of the maps itself, even though I have no clue about how it feels to play it, because I downloaded Trackmania yesterday or 2 days ago. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're not NMD anymore who builds maps here right now.
Let's see if I make a comeback. Let's see.
Oh, that would be really cool. That would be really, really cool.
So I guess you are the one to be on the... If people have any questions about the maps itself, what sticks out,
Indeed.
what stands out, I guess you are the sort of experienced guy there, and I will just speak about the history of the players, the storylines of the players. I'm sort of a gossip girl in Trackmania, so I know every single little detail about the players.
Indeed. So we add up pretty good, or we sum up pretty good. That's just nice.
Yin and yang. Yin and yang. No?
Yin and yang, indeed. So the servers are up and running. I'm just checking order of maps. Just wanted to do that. Okay, so Flyback is the first map. Then Switchbridge. So the map you see here is the last map. I think one of the easier maps is... Eric's cam is frozen. Is Eric dead? Hello?
No, I'm not dead. I'm here, right?
Alright. Not sure why it's frozen. Now? Now he's back. Eric is back alive.
Yeah, I mean, come on. What is Eric Color without some technical problems?
Okay, so the first map is Flyback and Eurostep. As you could have seen on the opening maps, you can lose your points. Then you have the semi-maps, which are Sidewave Sidewave and Treejump. Yep, tree. I can definitely see someone bonking into the tree. But we will find out. And then the final maps are Halfpipe and Switchbridge. So those are the 6 maps that will be played. And I'm keen to see how all the players will perform. Yesterday the last organization was announced. And it was a banger of an organization.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, that org, as a guy who likes Twitter, as a guy who likes numbers, that org is the biggest now on Twitter. Let's see if MnM Gaming can catch up. I think it's like 380,000 followers behind, but it's not impossible. At least after me and you joining this cast, we're gonna boost that social media, right?
Indeed, indeed, man. We're trying our best, and I think it will work out good. The yin and yang mentality, we're gonna get there. So also MnM Gaming just tweeted out happy birthday to our TMGL caster. Thanks for that. Just gonna retweet that and we are good to go. So 4 more minutes and then we're gonna start. Dude, I am so hyped, really. I'm super hyped, and look where Massa is standing. He's standing in the crowd. Man, Massa.
The man of the people. The man of the people, Massa. Dennis Lotze.
Dennis Lotze, hello.
Hello. So I didn't predict. You predicted. Can you just? I predicted only the winner of this step. It's Gwen, and your winner of this step was.
Yeah, Carl Jr.
Okay, so it's Carl Jr. versus Gwen on this channel, and then
again.
We have the chat. I guess someone's going to support Pack. So
yeah.
If there's any other names, if there's any other bets in the chat overall for this step, then now is the time to do it. Because if you're gonna come back after like map 3 and then put a bet, then your bet look weak and boring. So time to place your bet for this overall step. Who will win step 1 and be the leader of Trackmania Grand League after today?
Indeed. I mean, there are a lot of players who can make something happen. For example, I want to stress Riolo because he is not the fastest, but he's very consistent, and I think that can also like turn into his favor, as well as Kappa, for example. I think Massa will have a hard time because he tends to risk a lot. It's like a glass cannon, but I'm also interested to see how Afi and Yannick will perform, because I think we didn't talk about them too much, actually. We didn't talk about them too much.
Because for people that follow last season and just follow Trackmania Grand League, this season we will have 3 new players, one of them being my bet for the day, that being Gwen, and the other 2 being Afi and Yannick. And like you mentioned, they are sort of going under the radar. I mentioned in my sort of tier list that they both are underdogs. Simply, they don't have any pressure. Everything else, then a combined match should be a bonus for them. So it's curious to see. I have a ballsy bet towards you and Scotsman, and said that all new players from this season will qualify into the top 8. So that means that 3 out of the 8 will eventually qualify. So I don't know how secure I feel about that, but I just want to look like a legend if that goes through.
Yeah, that would be a legendary move indeed. I mean, if they all 3 make it, dude, Scotty, I will give you 2 beer or so when we're the next time in Thailand or so, whatever. Yeah, so that is a really ballsy bet. I mean, the Trackmania Grand League is as stacked as never before, I think. It is super hype and definitely open for surprises, but I mean, who should be in the bottom 8? Scrappy, Kappa, Papu? Like, those names are for me in the top 3, and you have like, you have made that bet, or like the tier list. And I struggled so much. There's only one player who I think is a little bit outside, who's not on the level as the other players, but everyone can be in the top 8. It will be super close and a close call, and I'm really interested to see that if we see any surprises. And of course, I hope that Pack is gonna win today, but I'm just gonna go for a non-Pack bet this time.
Yeah, I mean, what is safe to say is that some favorites, some really big names, some of the best players in the world won't be making the playoffs this time, because there are more than 8 good players in Trackmania, and then there are going to be some of the best players not making the playoffs. Names like Kappa, Tween, Massa is names that I bring up that might be struggling with this group stage format, but might be really suitable for the playoff format. So there are also to take into account that some players are really good at this format that we're going to see today, but maybe not as good as the playoff format. One of the guys to mention, Riolo, really good at this. I will also mention Papu and Aurel that's really good at this. So let's see. Those were the top 3 from last season, Papu, Riolo, and Aurel. They all beat Carl Jr., but I guess Carl Jr. played 4 out of 6 steps, so he has this excuse.
Yeah, that was impressive. He played 4 out of 6 steps. And I want to mention something. You see, they have hearts next to their name, okay? So you can type into the chat. For example, I want to say go pack. I type in go space and then pack. So that's how you do it, and that's how the player is gathering hearts. And of course, we are cheering for Pack here, or for Gwen, or for Carl Jr. But you can write that in the chat to support your favorite player. And the match is starting in 2 seconds, Eric. We are starting with the first step. The long-awaited Trackmania Grand League Season 2 is officially starting. It is starting. And we are starting with Flyback. That's the first map here. And we're gonna have a small warm-up before we will go into the live step.
Oh boy, oh boy. What do you have for this map in particular? Any names that you have seen training this map better than others? Anybody that particularly are good on this map?
So I think in general that this is the hardest map out of this map pack, because you have those reactor boosts which are really random. I've not really seen too much. I think Scrappy was okay on this, but I could be wrong as well. But also Gwen, I think he streamed that one as well. He's also a favorite, and we can see here Papu actually leading in the warm-up. But yeah, this can happen. You can just bonk away, and it can be over very, very quick here. So I didn't really have a favorite here. I would just... They can surprise me. They can surprise me.
Boring.
So
I go with a ballsy one. I go with Afi.
With Afi. Wow, okay. Okay, then I'm gonna go with Evon.
Oh, the ballsy picks, the ballsy duo here.
Evon. And who's our side bet?
Yeah, that's a side bet for this sort of map. We're gonna have six side bets, and if we just make one correct, it's already better than me and Scotsman did last season. So it's fun to go for the ballsy picks. But if the chat has any insights, who is back or who is good on this map that we're gonna see first?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I just had to set something here up. But in the warm-up you can't really see too much, since players are like driving risky or anything. But yeah, what player can... I mean, we didn't talk too much about Tween actually. Tween, he's like silently sitting in the corner and just waiting for his chance. But we are starting now. Be in the top 16. Flyback is the first map. And actually I have to move you because you are ahead of the map 1 out of 6 thingy and the lap.
Just move out of this server.
Excuse me?
Just move me out of this server.
Wait, I'm just gonna... Maybe I should put you here just.
Feel free to delete me if you want.
I'm just gonna put you below the thing. I think here it's fine, because now you can see in the top right the map and also the time. And we are right now following Evon here, who is in the battle actually for that first place. But look who's in first. It is Pack. Pack battling with Papu and Carl Jr. So they're familiar. But Evon is doing good. Didn't get the best landing though. So he is getting overtaken here by Carl Jr. Driving through the mannequins. So they are... yeah, they are ruthless driving through them. And who are you following right now?
I'm just looking at the people that are behind already. You said...
Ooh, so many mistakes already, right? Oh, okay. Eric is gone. Goodbye. So I'm alone now. Oh, that's the first one. But yeah, actually what Eric wanted to say, he wanted to look at the people who are behind. And Aurel almost made a mistake here. So it's not looking good. And he actually lost a lot of time with that. He's 5 seconds behind. And Tween, just when I tried to praise him, Tween is on P16. I'm not sure what has happened there, but he has failed his identity. So Tween is several seconds behind. So this is not looking good. Okay, so Tween, what is happening? Wait, what? Tween is super far behind. Okay, let's go a little bit further ahead. Yannix, Massa, and Matt, as well as Scrappy, are also a little bit further behind, but only 1 to 4 seconds. But they can still make something happen, as the battle is still pretty close. Yannix with a risky jump here. Look at that. And Eric is back, I think.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, you're back. Perfect. Good. I thought it was just a standing screen.
But what is going on with Tween? I mean, 40 seconds behind.
I'm not sure what he's doing, but he is super far behind. He has made a lot of mistakes, actually. And I hope that he is actually, fine with the maps. Maybe he has practiced them or not, but I hope that he has. as we can see the fight here for the top 8. That's cool, man. You hear the audience.
It's now 3 people within less than a second,
Yeah,
so it seems like it's Carl Jr., Pack, and Papu battling for this round win. None of the ones we bet to win this map in particular, but you predicted Carl Jr. to win it overall steps, and we had, of course, the chat predicting that Pack is going to win it. And some people actually suggested that Papu will win this map in particular, so it seems like the chat knows more than me, so maybe for step 2 I will be giving my spot to someone else.
But dude, look at this fight here for the top 3. There are 300s in between each other. What a close fight. Carl Jr. is right now having the upper hand, but only 600s ahead of the Gamers Origin player, Papu. And Papu with more speed, going over the ice here. Going right now into the 3rd identity. So Papu is looking good. But let's see what Pack is doing. 0.4 behind. And he can still make some damage. So let's see what is happening here at this identity. And Carl Jr. jumps very low, actually. And it seems that he almost hit the reset block. If you hit that reset block, your car will stop flying and you are dead. And Papu got it even better. So Papu is now in the lead with 0.5 of a second. So he has some room to breathe. Okay, let's go a little bit further back. We have Afi behind Spam. And then Kappa, Evon, and Yannick rounding off the top 8. Riolo and Massa, the German duo, are in 9th and 10th place respectively. Have you spotted anything what has happened here? Has anyone dropped majorly behind? Or
Gwen one of the biggest favorites for the win of this whole
true.
season. It's starting this season not in the best way, so curious to see how the young player will come back from this, if it's gonna affect his mentality over the whole step.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the first map. You don't lose points here. He can just chill a bit. He can show it that he can do it on map 3 onward. So I think he's fine. He's right now sitting at P14, finding himself 11 seconds behind. And then we also have Riolo, who's a little bit further ahead. And 4.5 seconds behind Papu, who's still the leader of the race.
Let's look at this race. Let's just focus for now. You don't lose points. Let's just focus about the top 3 battle, because so far this is looking to be one of the closest battles we have seen ever in Trackmania Grand League. And it's
Papu with the nose slide. Oh no, Papu with the nose slide, and this means that we have a lead change again. And also Pack has dropped a bit behind, but still they are so close together. 0.3, 0.4 of a second, and it's super close. Papu with a good dirt section comes a tiny tad closer towards Carl Jr., but oh my god, look at Pack's line here. What was that line? That was really good. He comes also closer to that first place, and we still have 2 laps to go. 2 identities that the players have to cope here, but it's looking really good that the Solary player will beat our MnM player here. That Carl Jr. will take over that first place. Papu still inside here. So 1 good identity from Papu, and he has shown that he's doing it good, and he will eventually come closer. Saying that he's coming closer. Look at that. Papu eats Pack alive. Really good turn, and also only 0.3 behind Carl Jr. here, approaching this identity for the second last time. Carl Jr. is still having the upper hand. But let's see. Carl Jr. jumping very low again. And let's see what Papu is doing. Papu's speed is good, but Carl Jr. got it good as well. So it's neck and neck still. And you can see the gap here between Pack, Spam, and then also Yannick. Yannick is on 5th position and 3 seconds behind.
It seems like Pack is out of the battle, and it's now 1v1 between Carl Jr. and Papu. Last lap here. Any final prediction?
Pack.
Pack, damn, a comeback. I'm gonna go with Carl Jr.
Okay, we have right now Papu in the lead, 0.4 of a second, and Pack is also only 0.5 behind. He used to be 1.5 seconds behind, but he can make the comeback. But this battle is still super close. Look at that. Pack with a very good drift here, but it wasn't quite enough to catch up to them. And yeah, this one identity will decide it. Who is risking it? Who is risking it here for the 20 points and also for the maybe 2 additional points that you get from a map win? Who is gonna get that? Right now, Papu has the upper hand, 0.17 of a second, but Pack is also here. Oh man, it's super close to call. Look at that. Let's follow Carl Jr. here for that last identity. Let's go with him. Papu jumping super far up, but Carl Jr. is risking it, and Papu has more speed. Where is Pack? Pack is not able to overtake him, and Papu wins map 1 ahead of Carl Jr. Then we have Pack, Spam in 4th position, Yannick in 5th behind his landman Afi or countryman. Then Riolo, Kappa, Evon P9, Massa 10th, Aurel, Matt, Scrappy is also able to finish, and then we have Gwen in P14, And Bren and Tween in 15th and 16th, rounding off here, but it is Tween who's not able to finish. Tween can't finish.
Let's hope for Marek's sake that he has been some... if he has little time to train, I hope he has trained map 5 and 6 the most. So maybe this is just a sign that he hasn't really cared about map 1 and 2, because this is Trackmania Grand League. If you don't keep your points, the points that you actually gained on map 1, in the end, doesn't really matter. So maybe Twin has been 5-head and only trained the last maps.
Yeah, it would be the smartest move, because why should you practice map 1 when you... Yeah, when you not lose points there, right? And when you have nothing to lose, you can just risk there. And maybe that was the tactic from Tween. Just go all in, and maybe that's why he failed in the first identity.
But I'm surprised to see Gwen. I predicted him to do really well from the start, but let's see. He's a young guy, so maybe now he's playing against the best of the best. There's no room for errors. Maybe it's more pressure on his shoulders. Who knows? It's curious to see how he's going to perform on this map too, if it's going to affect him the overall step. But I don't think so, but it might be the case.
Indeed, it might be the case, but Gwen is such a guy. I mean, last time when I was commentating a match, he said in French, I don't know how to save. So he's just playing the risk game, and right now in the warm-up, it's looking really good here for the Game World player. But maybe the pressure is now coming to him, because now he plays on the big stage. Now it is against something. I mean, he played in the Zerator Cup. He has redeemed himself as, beating the guy from the throne. He has beaten Carl Jr., but now he's playing against all the other good players as well.
Yeah, for sure. But do you think Gwen is not overhyped? That might be the wrong word. But do you think people expect too much from him too soon now?
Yeah, maybe maybe people really expect too much from him, and maybe that goes to his mind. So I'm keen to have a mindset, and it's too bad that you couldn't have an interview with him actually, because I would have been happy to have a insight into Gwen's mindset right now, how he's thinking. Karma.
That's why Carl Jr. didn't win either, because if you do interviews like Papu, then you get good karma and then you win the map, right?
All right. So Riolu goes for the shortcut, skips the lap there, and we are done with the warm-up. Map 2 Eurostep is starting now, and let's actually go with Peck here in this first lap and see what he's doing. After that, third place, he is there with 12 points. The fastest lap was by Papu actually, so he's in the lead with a 8-point lead over Carl Jr., who got second position.
Side bet? Who's gonna win this map?
Massa.
Oh, I was actually about to say Massa
really?
myself. I don't know why. Okay, and then I'm gonna say Papu again.
All right. Okay. I mean, Papu is a safe pick. We also have seen in the chat that that Papu seems to be very well trained. But now the first crucial part comes up. Now this jump, and Scrappy. I almost wanted to bet at Scrappy, but he made a mistake. And Tween is also a little bit further behind, but he has not made a mistake. So Tween, despite he can make it happen here. He's only 1 second behind, going into the first part now, into the identity. 2 jumps remaining, and we see different lines here. Tween and Matt going for that outside approach, and now the first identity will come up. Left, right, avoiding the pillars. And let's take a look how the players will do the first identity here. Carl Jr. in the lead ahead of Spam, and then we have Gwen in 3rd position. So let's see, will someone bonk into the tree? Gwen is going for the cut. Are you kidding me? Did he go for the cut, or was that just me being blind? Didn't he go to the left?
I'm also blind.
Didn't he go to the left? Wait, I'm following Gwen now and gonna check that out. But Carl Jr. and Spam are in the lead. Wow. I'm not sure what happened there, but let's follow Gwen here. For that one, Massa actually, my side bet, is right now occupying P4 and is attacking Gwen here in this section. Has a tiny tad more speed, but Gwen, never mind, presses B for boost here in this section and defends the 3rd place. Oh, Massa almost making the mistake, had to release, and therefore Papu, Peck, and also, who's that? Riolu will overtake him because he had a really bad line there. So you see one small mistake, and Massa drops down from P4 to P7. But what a close fight that is here. But let's follow Gwen here. Let's see what the 16-year-old now is doing. Oh, Peck! Oh, no, Peck! Peck with a mistake here. And this was not good for him. Okay, let's see. Gwen really go to the left here? Because that was my assumption. But let's see what the Game Ward player is doing. Hopefully I'm not cursing him here. Okay, because he can go to the left here. And yes, indeed he did. No, oh my god. Oh, I'm so sorry, Gwen. Oh, no. It's starting again. Eric?
Yo.
I jinxed Gwen. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he will survive that. He's 16 years old. He has a lot of life to catch back up with. But the battle between Spam and Carl Jr., I mean, these are some veterans once you compare them to Gwen. Carl Jr. winning the World Championship 2013, 14, and 15. But Spam won it in 2012, so then he beat Carl Jr. So it's already 10 years ago almost that these two have battled. So it's insane to see this former teammate once again battling head to head.
Yeah, and both playing on a on a high level for a long time. You said the 2012 world champion, and then we also have Carl Jr. Well, should I just introduce him? You all know when he won the World Cup. It was in 2013 and 14, right? Or?
Oh, 15, yeah.
13,
yeah. 2014, and
15. Yeah, 3 times. Sorry, yeah. I thought 15 was Pack, but Pack was 16, yeah. Okay, good. That's why you are sitting here, to give me the information. Arel jumping very far to the left. And did someone fail there? I think Kappa has made a mistake. Oh, never mind. Someone just lagged out then. Well, let's follow Kappa here, the Veloce player, to see how he will cope that identity. As we see no one here actually going to the left where Gwen has made a mistake. Kappa overtaking Massa in this section, also Arel. So he's up to P5. Okay, Spam still in the lead though. 0.8 ahead of Carl Jr. And then we have Riolu in P3. So cool to see that Riolu is right now occupying place number 3. Oh, Spam and Carl Jr. both with a mistake. Look at that. Spam has dropped behind, and as well Carl Jr. You could have seen Riolu was 1.8 seconds behind, and now he is coming a bit closer. So Carl Jr. is crumbling a bit, and Riolu is capitalizing from that mistake here from Spam. Spam down to P5, and Massa is still on P6. Goes for a good jump, though Kappa jumps a little bit too far up, and therefore loses 2 positions. And yeah, it's a back and forth here between all the players, because you see now Riolu is down to P3. Peck has overtaken him, and Carl Jr. is still 1 second ahead.
But one thing is for sure, we look at Pack's level now, he has been battling at the top for both maps, so it's safe to say that Pack is prepared, and once Pack is prepared, then he's a scary guy. So this is a good sign for the fans of Pack, but once again, Carl Jr., once it's the most prestigious tournament, once there is something on the line, he is always at the top. It's the safest bet you can do to say that Carl Jr. will be at the top in Trackmania.
Indeed, that's why I went with him, because he's the safe bet. And now I see how the players are performing, right? Maybe some of them had no time, maybe they will practice this week. But it is really interesting to see, because we also stressed out on the Season 1 players here by the names of Yannick's, Gwen, and Afi. And Afi is right now on P12. So not looking good here for the Swiss man. After getting 8 points on the first map, he's only looking to get himself a 12th position here on this track.
And meanwhile, it seems like Bren did not finish, so my assumption of him not being prepared because of his holiday and he essentially came back yesterday is correct. So I don't expect too much from Bren today, but he needs to catch up the other steps then, because he's essentially then going to play 5 steps while the other players play 6 steps. I
mean, just be Carl Jr. and play 4 steps and still get 2nd place, so that's what you also can do. Okay, Riolu with a inside line, then Peck with the slowdown. He gets, so his car tilted too much, and therefore he lost grip and his car couldn't accelerate, so Peck is dropping a little bit behind. And you can see before that section, Peck is losing additional time, because you need that speed. So he loses additional time here, 3 seconds behind now, behind Carl Jr., who is 2 seconds ahead of Spam. What a great performance here by him, and we are already approaching into the last lap. One more time, they have to do this start jump, and really good performance here by Carl Jr. I like how the mannequins are still shouting "Go Bren," even though Bren has DNF'd.
But one thing is worth mentioning is that Spam made a mistake. He got back to position 6, but his pace on this map is good, so he's already back up to 2nd place. I don't think he will have enough time to catch up to Carl Jr., but I think Spam is actually the best player on this map, but sadly he made a mistake, so then Carl Jr. capitalized on that.
Indeed. And now we have the streamer battle going on. You mentioned Spam. Riolu is lurking in 3rd place and just waiting of a player to make a mistake. That's what I was stressing out about Riolu. He's a very consistent player. Not the fastest, but if there's a chance, if a player makes the smallest mistakes, Riolu is striking. And we see different lines here. Spam with more speed with the outside approach. Also lower jump. So greatly done by him. So he gets himself a little bit more time. But we have one more identity to clear. Carl Jr. still 1.5 seconds ahead. He should just save it here. I will go a little bit further back, because there we can also see the battle here going on. Or if a player makes a mistake, Kappa on P5, Pack on P4. And then we have Riolu still on the podium, P3. So positions look to be set in stone. Yes, indeed. It will stay like that. Carl Jr. wins it ahead of Spam. Then Riolu, Pack, Kappa, Massa, Aurel, Tween on P8. Yannick's Airborne, Gwen, Papu, Afi. Oh, Papu ahead of Afi here in the ending. Very close. 200ths of a second. And then we have Matt on P14. Scrappy after that mistake. On P14 actually, because Matt has made a mistake. And he will be the last player who will finish this round, because Bran has DNF'd.
So takeaway after the 2 first maps, when you only gain points, it seems like Carl Jr., Spam, and Pack are maybe the 3 most prepared, at least the most prepared on the 2 first maps. But let's just say that these maps are the least important ones, because now we start to get into the serious part. But new for this season is that you only lose 50%, not 100%. So let's see how much the players have trained map 3 and 4, but if you are smart, you train maps 5 and 6 the most.
Indeed. If you are short on time, you practice map 5 and 6. That is true. And yeah. You have seen anything here on this map? Anything about the player or anything that you want to stress out?
Not in particular, because it's really hard to say that someone sticks out, because most of the players has been training under the radar. It's hard to get a feeling about who is actually the best player. So if I had to bet, it's going to be a bet in the dark, but let's just go with then Pack. I think Pack is going to win this one.
Okay, so your bet is Pack. All right. So that's not your side bet, right? Or
this is the side bet for this map.
Okay, just for this map. Okay, I think actually I'm gonna go with Riolu here. I just have the feeling that Riolu will perform good, or perform well, since he looks very well prepared as well. So I'm gonna go with Riolu.
Can you explain to something that if people just watched the last season of Trackmania Grand League, then they watched it in Trackmania 2 Stadium, now we see a lot of this new ice block. Can you explain to people what is this new ice block?
Yeah, okay, so you have different undergrounds on Trackmania. You have the dirt, so you have dirt, and the normal tarmac, and then also grass. So the car just behaves differently on ice that has been implemented in the new Trackmania. So you can see that people are sliding away. And the thing is, if you slide away and you are in a certain angle and counter steer, your car will steer to the other direction, like a drift. You see it here. And then Pack is steering to the other direction, and he is just getting through that corner. So it is cool to see that. And you can also get yourself some sort of steering when you release. And also the thing is, when you come from the ice, your tires are still attached with the ice, so your car is drifting away, and it only goes away after a certain time. Okay, so that's a briefly explanation. I didn't study ice. There are good videos on YouTube about that, how you should drive on it. And yeah, let's go here with the first lap. Let's follow the Alliance player. Let's follow Spam, who's currently in the battle for that first place here. We see a lot of players. Look at that. Spam goes for the release, so the safe technique. But look at that. Pack is in the lead. Spam has dropped a bit behind. P13 now for him. Matt, Kappa, and Tween. What happened there? Who was that? It was Matt. Matt fully bonking to the left into the spectators. So they have to go to the hospital hospital eventually. So okay. Okay, perfect. So have you seen anything in the first lap, or Anything
I mean, it
spotted?
seems like I expect this maybe to be one of the best maps for Matt because of this trick that he has. I think he has shown it on his stream and tried to do it, but he seems to be way behind. And Matt is maybe the guy I would put as the least favorite to do well in the season because of his risk problems, but also because of his experience in the top tournament. So hopefully Matt can prove me wrong, but so far it doesn't look like it. But who is in the bottom 8? It's your name, Carl Jr. and Spam. So
And Gwen. Gwen as well, Riolu as well, so people will lose 50% of their points if they end up in the bottom 8. And currently it is not looking good here for them, as Carl Jr. is only 1 second behind, but still he's on P13, and this will definitely put some pressure on him. As we see a lot of mistakes though, so Carl Jr. comes back strong up to P12, and look at this fight here in that top 8 region here. Super, super close here, and also beautiful ice section here by Carl Jr. Gets himself a lot of speed. And look at Riolu! What? What is that fight here? Look at that. Wow, that was a brutal line here by Riolu and also by Carl Jr. So Carl Jr. now up to P8. Just when you say that, Carl Jr. is down the top 8. He's getting back into the top 8. So greatly done, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, there is something safe in life, at least before the last season of Trackmania Grand League. Water is wet, fire burns, and Carl Jr. will finish above the bottom 8.
I think so as well. We see different approaches here. Carl Jr. opting for that outside approach here, but it's still super, super close here between all the players. Since Carl Jr. is 4.5 seconds behind, but still, it is the field is very spread, and one mistake can drop you down tremendously. As you see Gwen as well. P7, Riolu and Spam right now in the red. So P9 and 10 for them. And then we have...
Look at my bet. Look at my bet, Mr. Pack. He's at top. Look at me. I mean, sometimes I'm good at predicting stuff.
Yeah, indeed. Sometimes you're good in that.
1 out of 6 times.
Yeah, so my bet is on P10. So also not terrible.
Not great.
But I hope that he will end up in the top 8. So, but look at that. Just when I say that, he is up now into the top 8. Very greatly done here, or greatly done by Riolu. Look at that. Oh, but just when I praise him, he makes the mistake. The caster's curse is kicking in. Damn it. That was not good. And also, Evon, Yannick, Kappa, all the players are overtaking him, and Riolu now down to P14. And he looks like to lose 19 points here, or like half of it. So, this is definitely not good news for him. As we see Carl Jr. making his way through here, P6 for him. So he is slowly but surely coming closer, and just coming closer to their opponents, pressurizing them, and eventually will overtake them. But let's take a look here onto the battle for the top, as we see Peck, Massa and Papu in the top 3. But the battle here for that second place is hot between Papu and Massa, as Massa has a little bit of a disadvantage here over Papu, but they're inside of each other. Only a couple of hundreds between them. And Peck is playing the consistency game here. Looking strong here to win map number 3.
It's hard to figure out what is happening with Tween. I mean, I spoke to him, but I didn't get the feeling about him being so unprepared. But maybe it is because now he's really far behind once again and looks to lose then half with his points, but that is sadly just 3 points because he didn't perform really well on the 2 first tracks either. But look at Spam though, he's gonna lose 12 points, so Spam is one of the point leaders, and now at 15th spot, that is not something he's gonna catch back from. He's 8 seconds behind number 8.
Yeah, indeed, and I mean, even if he catches up to, let's say, Carl Jr. fails, he needs to overtake 4 more people or 5 more people, so it is... yeah, very unlikely that Spam will make it here. But we see Kappa also making a mistakes there, so Spam will at least overtake him. And yeah, it's Peck still in the lead ahead of Massa and then Papu. Then we have a huge gap here of 2 seconds between 3rd and 4th position. And yeah, Carl Jr. right now safe, not losing his 34 points. Looking good for him. But there we also have Gwen. Gwen coming closer, P8, and also Evon. So let's focus here on Evon, who is right now on 9th position, and this would be bad for him, losing 5 points going into the next map. I mean, yeah, of course it is bad, but better losing 5 points than 10, of course. Better than that. So Evon gives us a good overview here, but Carl Jr. not with the best speed. So Evon comes closer and goes for the attack. Evon up to P8. Let's take a look onto Carl Jr.'s speed. Carl Jr. with more speed, so he's back up into P8 again. What a back and forth between the players. So now we have only one more lap remaining, and Gwen with no speed. So Evon are up to P8 here. This is looking good for Evon, that he will keep his 5 points, and Gwen will not go home, or will lose his points here if it stays like that. But he is known to be a risky player.
I'm just trying to follow this battle at the top. They are really with the insider, but now Pack has made a mistake.
Oh, no. Yeah, I focus on that battle here for that 8th position, because it is about losing points or not, you know. But you are right, Pack is down to P3, and then we have Afi on P4. So cool to see Afi on 4th position here. That's really cool.
Yeah, one of the guys I put as the underdog in my bet, but also I have predicted him to be in the top 8, so I have high expectations for him. I think he's one of the guys that would just progress and progress as the season goes, so it's good to see him this high up already. But last lap here, let's see who loses points and who gains points.
Yeah, we see Evon dropping a bit behind from the top 8 position, and the battle is hot here between Gren, Yannick, and Carl Jr. Evon gives us a good overview here. Maybe someone is risking the ice. You have, of course, you have something to lose, but every player in the bottom 8 will lose 50% of their points. Okay, Evon does it good here. Oh, Yannick loses a little bit of speed there and also a little bit of grip. So Yannick's now down to P9. And now going one more time over that ice. Gwen is falling behind. Gwen is falling behind. And Yannick will capitalize from that mistake. So Gwen right now in the red position here. And this is not looking good. Is there any close battle going on here? Maybe for P5, as Scrappy is a little bit further behind here. But it seems that positions are most likely set in stone. Afi actually... And Pack, who will take that 3rd position, Afi or Pack? This is very close to call, as Afi has a little bit more speed than Pack. One more turn, and Afi with more speed. Oh my god, who will take P3? And it will be Pack staying ahead. P3 for him. Massa in 2nd, Papu in 1st. And it is actually Yannick staying ahead here. Gwen has risked it in the end. And Evon, Riolu, Gwen, Bren, Spam, Tween, Kappa, and Matt will lose 50% of their points, and the top 8 will gain the points and will lose no points.
Yeah, insane battles here, but surprised to see Spam losing the points. I expected him to be one of these players that is high up there, and also Riolu. We praise them for being guys that doesn't make a lot of mistakes. They are consistent, but now both of them lost points, but Spam still up there with 15 points. So now you see that even though you lose points, it's just 50%, so it's not that crucial if you had to gain a lot of points before.
Yeah, indeed. And I mean, of course, you lose points, but the thing is now, you lose points on 4 maps instead of 3. And I'm still getting into the habit that you lose all your points, so sorry when I say that sometimes, but on map 4 you also only lose 50% of your points. Okay, let's take a look onto the standing here. Let's take a look. We have Papu, Carl Jr., Pack being in the top 3. Then we have Massa, P4. Nice to see that, as well as Afi and Yannick, the OGL players. Look at that. Dude, it's like the complete opposite that you said. You said that Gwen will perform and Afi and Yannick will struggle. Now it's the complete opposite.
I didn't say they will struggle. I just said that they're underdogs. But I have much higher expectations for Gwen. The only player I said might be struggling is probably Matt, and Matt is last, and also Bren that sadly has no time to train this week, but surprised to see Gwen that built far down. Tween, Kappa, and mentioned that Gwen and Kappa could win this season, but again, it doesn't look like it at the moment. So, but it's only step 1, so.
Indeed, you never know what happens here. So we have Treejump now. I would say one of the harder maps, so we will see a lot of tree hits, because the identity here is that you have to jump in between those trees, just squeeze yourself through. Then you want to hold your gear here and also jump through here. Yannick jumped to the left, taking the booster. So this is a very hard map to do, but I can actually see, actually that was the most, one of the maps that I've seen the most in the practice session. I've seen Spam really try-harding on this, as well as Scrappy and Massa. So I'm really keen on how they will perform.
Who's your side bet? Who's going to win this map?
I think it will be... Let's go with Scrappy. Wait, pause?
Yeah, it seems like it. Because it's map 3 of the maps are done. So
Okay, yeah. Okay, so that's just a replay right now that is being played, or...
No, I think they are warming up.
Okay, but it is looking weird because it looks like that you're watching a replay or something like that. But yeah, I think indeed they are just warming up right now for this map. So we have a little bit of a pause. If you guys have any questions, any suggestions, maybe also from the side from MnM, if everything is fine or not, hit us up now, because now we have the chance to change something.
Yeah, remove this co-caster. He's useless with his hide bets.
Ah, no, this is fun, man. This is really fun.
Yeah, of course, of course. Resuming match. B in the top 8. Let's see who will be in the top 8.
Alright, let's see. Let's go here. First lap with Pack. 34 points on stake, so he could lose 17 points. So, of course, if you didn't lose points before that, you will lose more points, obviously. And losing 17 points is definitely something to lose. Okay, let's see how Pack is doing that start. He goes for a wider line, so he has a little bit more speed to work with. A smooth slide, so Pack up to P5. Going through the spectators here. Greatly done by the UK player here. We see Yannick's 20 points far behind, and well as Massa, right? Was that Massa? No, I've seen...
Massa is behind.
Yeah, Massa. Oh, damn it. Massa, 16th place, so Massa 2 seconds already behind, and this puts him in such a disadvantage, and he could lose 14 points here. He could lose 14 points here, Eric.
Yep.
Oh. So, also Aurel, 20 points. Okay. He's also not super far ahead, I want to say.
What is Papu doing, though? Papu is like, speed boost. Let's just go ahead and win this. My 3rd map.
Yeah. Papu looks very well prepared.
Call Junior,
Oh.
SOS.
Wait,
And
Scrappy, no, Scrappy as well. Carl Jr. with a backflip. Oh no, so this is not good for Carl Jr. here, as he is super far behind, more than 7 seconds. Make it even 8 or 9, so Carl Jr. could lose his points 9 seconds behind. And also Bren making the mistake, and also Scrappy. Riolo is there as well, so all the big names are down here. So this is not looking good, and now we have a step going on. The first step, bring some spice in. I said that Aurel is not doing well here on this track, but now he's up to P2. But what can I say, Papu is playing out of his mind. Papu is on another level on this track.
Papu won the group stage last season, and it doesn't seem like he's gonna give it away to someone else. I mean, Papu had the highest score last season, and I think this score is about to set for this step. If it continues like this, will be a score that the other players are gonna struggle to beat, because look at him, it seems like they're sort of overlapping him, but the fact is just that he is moving away. So Papu really outstandingly so far.
Yeah, really, really great performance. I hope that he can maintain that also through that identity sections, as we see Aurel and Afi from Pack's point of view battling out here for P2. Really great fight. Afi with a mistake. Afi clipping, and Afi is completely dead. You see one mistake, and also Kappa with the mistake here. The Yep tree is intensifying here, and look at that, one mistake and you are almost dead. But look at that, Afi is still on P8. So Afi's still safe, not losing any sort of points, but still a very, very interesting step so far, as it is getting spicier and spicier every time. Also Gwen, P9, with 9 points, so he's about to lose 5 points. You lose 4 or 5 points then if you have 9 points.
I think you lose 4 points, so you eventually keep more than you lose, because yeah, it should be nice at least.
Okay, yeah, I think it's 4 points as well, so I mean, it is still not over yet. And also Afi, who has made a mistake here, is getting pressurized by Gwen, by the game ward player. But Gwen not with the best entry here into the ice section, into the bobsleigh. And Scrappy is also here, has made a mistake in the first lap. So Scrappy with the comeback here, and Scrappy is pushing it. The Lazarus player is pushing it, but Gwen with more speed in this section, so he will defend his position here. Let's see what Evon is doing. Evon with a mistake. Can he make that jump? No, Evon is dead. Evon with the respawn, and he has no speed to work with, so he has to clip again. So Evon, P14 for him. Yaptree, he has to go for the safe way. Not looking good for him here, as he is super far behind. P14, 11 seconds behind. And yeah, Pack also dropped down. What happened to Pack? Have you seen that, Eric?
No, sadly not.
Oh, damn it, Pack. Now, again, up to P8. But, yeah, he is 9 seconds behind. 9 seconds behind Papu here, who is 3 seconds ahead of Aurel. What is this guy doing? Wow. Really, this is incredible.
It's outstandingly, but look at the battle for the keeping the spot, keeping the 8. Scrappy, Massa, Riolo, Afi, etc, etc. So it's really close at the moment.
Indeed, it is really
keeping
close.
the 50%.
Cow Jr. also here. Riolo with a mistake. Look at that. You can really see the battle here between Afi and Cow Jr. And then also Scrappy, Tween, and Pack up there. A little bit further ahead. But Papu is just driving there. 4 seconds ahead. You can just see him somewhere in like super far away. It looks so easy when you see Papu just driving there. But right now it is really Cow Jr., Scrappy, and Afi who would lose 50% of their points. Okay, Aurel still behind him. Aurel is 4 seconds behind Papu, and then we have Spam, additional 3 seconds behind. So what a performance by Papu. He's not making any sorts of mistakes here. Impressive to see his performance. Really good.
Yeah, this is one of the most dominant performances I've ever seen on a single map in Trackmania Grand League. But let's not jinx it. He still has 2 or 1.5 map or round to go. So
indeed.
Let's see.
Let's see. Okay. So now Massa actually P9 for him, and Afi and Scrappy. Scrappy all of a sudden in the green, really capitalizing from it. And look at that, Cow Jr., despite being 11 seconds behind. I thought that this is the rip for him, but Cow Jr. is now up to P6 again. So he might not lose his points. Massa Riolu, 27 points. That would be minus 13, and Riolu would lose 7 points. So this is not looking good for him, for the Nordavind player. And then we also have Massa, who could lose 13 points. But still, we have still 2 more identities that players have to pass here. And everything can and eventually will happen, as we see Afi! Afi is dead. Afi is ripped. And he gets the penalty as well, but Afi down to P10. And Riolu had to go for the safe way as well. I wanted to say before that Riolu had now a realistic shot of not losing 50% of his points. But now that he has made a mistake as well, it is looking grim for him. It's looking grim for the Nordavind player. And he even gets overtaken by Yannick and Evon here. Okay. Massa is surviving. So Massa not losing his points. Really cool to see that. But we still have 2 more maps after that. So everything can happen there. And Papu 6 seconds ahead of over Aurel. Then Gwen on P3. Spam battling out with Gwen. And then we have Pack on P5. And then already Cow Jr., Scrappy, and Massa behind. So those are the players who are not losing points here. And Afi is 5 seconds away from Massa. So it's looking a little bit anticlimactic. So let's take a look here between that battle for that 3rd position between Spam and Gwen. Gwen with more speed and now approaching the last identity. It is safe to say that Papu is getting first. And Aurel in 2nd. But who is going to get that 3rd place? Gwen has more speed. And Spam is risking it here as Papu is winning it here. We see Spam with a smooth approach here, but it is Gwen securing himself the podium spot ahead of Spam. Then we have Pack, Cow Jr., Scrappy, and Massa. So positions are set in stone here. Impressive performance just from Papu. Wow, what a great performance.
Looking at the times from Step 1 Winter 2020 season, that being the last season, the biggest margin between number 1 and 2 was Papu back then as well. It was 2.4 seconds, and now it's 8 seconds. So Papu on this map, I have no clue what that was. It looks like he was professional and the other one was sort of an average player, but he did that against the best of the best in the world. So I'm curious if Papu is just gonna steamroll map 5 and 6 as well.
Indeed, and I mean, those are the maps where you should put the most practice into. So he can definitely do something there. I think Papu has practiced those tracks more, And therefore we're gonna see him just clutching through here. He's in the lead, 70 points for him. What an impressive performance, 70 out of 88 possible points. This is just a very good performance. And now we have a break here of 5 minutes. So let's take a little bit of a breather. I'm gonna grab myself some water and I'll be right back. Because I didn't prepare myself because I had to set up the overlay and went straight into the live. So guys,
Okay.
I'll be right back.
I can chat with the chat.
Okay,
it seems
perfect.
like we have
I'll
some
be right back.
facts. Yeah, sure. We have some facts about Papu making the top 3 best time ever. So that's just cool to see. Keep us updated with some facts and stats that can bring this cast a little bit better. And if there's anything you want changed, feel free to suggest it. If you want the camera removed, hashtag camera away, and maybe we get it away from the next season. But for the people that don't know Trackmania Grand League, and for the people that know Trackmania Grand League, we know that Trackmania Grand League starts now, because now you can lose 100% of your points. Papu can lose 70 points, so yeah, that can be. We can praise as much as we want Papu for what he has done on the 4 first maps, but if he fails one of the last maps, the performance on the 4 first maps are essentially not worth anything.
Indeed.
Yeah. 40k viewers for Trackmania. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
And the pressure is rising. As more points you have, the more you have to lose, and the more pressure is on your shoulders. So indeed, that is definitely something that you have to consider.
If Papu continues like this, he might already secure himself a playoff spot with this performance.
Yeah. Good call. So I don't like that you constantly see the ranking here, but I think they will also adapt some things or change some things throughout the second step. Since, for example, when a player is finishing, it's way too loud. Like, yeah, this yay, you know, when a player finishes, it's way too loud.
I turn that off, CBA.
You have no sound enabled?
Yes, I have you enabled, that's enough.
Ooh. But yeah, 40,000 people watching Trackmania, that's really cool to see. Also wanted to check if there's any English stream who has... Okay, Virtual has 2,500 viewers. Wow, that's insane. That's an insane number. And then
I'm happy for him, I'm happy for Trackmania.
Yeah, indeed. He deserves it then. So Dosh at 16,000, Kameto at 7,000, and Trilux at 5,000. So really cool to see this exposure from Trackmania. Definitely a success. And yeah, now it has been spiced up. It will spice up here, since you have mentioned it beforehand when I was away, I think. But people can lose, or people will lose 100% of their points if they are in the bottom 8, I mean.
Yeah, now Trackmania Grand League starts. Now the sort of unique thing about Trackmania Grand League comes into play. Even though Papu has so many points, even though Carl Jr. has a lot of points, they can all lose it in a single mistake. So yeah, you need to keep your head cool, focus until you have finished lap 6. So yeah, I'm curious to see how much pressure is going to be on Papu's shoulder, Carl Jr.'s shoulders, and the rest of the players.
Indeed, it will be really interesting, and definitely Papu has most... Hello?
Hello.
Wait. Hello? Are you here?
I'm here, yeah. Right?
Why is the webcam not working? Ah, now, why? Okay, let's go like that. So, for all the players, or for all the people in here, we're gonna change the overlay throughout the steps. I have to check how everything is, so I'm just gonna disable us for a moment. So I just want a clear picture. Oh wait, I'm just gonna take a clear picture of the thing that I can just yeah, set everything up, you know, that the webcam is not distracting us if the webcam is still a thing. But people seem to like it that they see us both. I think it's also a good idea. Or what do you think about that?
I said what I dislike webcams in cast.
Yeah, indeed.
In the end, it's gameplay that comes into play. I don't want to be more important than the car race, but I guess we're gonna be flexible. If the viewers want it, if they want it, then just keep it.
Yeah.
I mean, Javelin is of course gonna love it because he loves to see my face, so you should not listen to him too much. But Javelin, if you want to watch me, I mean, there is like 100 hours of Trackmania podcast on YouTube where you can watch my face.
I can go with both options. So I mean, I made a Twitter poll someday, and I was asking casting with or without webcam, and most of the people said that they wanted it without. So that's Eric's opinion, and that's what I stick. But I wanted to try it because I think it creates a little bit more authenticity. Is it a word? I think so. Yeah.
Sure.
When we both have the webcam enabled and talk, right?
Yeah, but CBA is 25 seconds left now. Now Trackmania Grand League starts. Now we'll conclude step 1. Any final predictions? Any surprises? Who will lose points?
Who will lose points? Scrappy
That's everything.
Massa.
That's the storyline, right? That's the storyline.
Scrappy Massa will lose their points.
Oh, that's a boring pick because they are known to lose points. I will go with Carl Jr.
What? Carl Jr. will lose his points?
You heard it here first. Just come back to me
What?
in 10 minutes. Just come back to me in 10 minutes.
Okay, I have to drink something.
But for the chat, we want to interact you as well. Any predictions about who will do well on this final phase, as they call it, the final phase, where essentially the most important thing is just to keep your points, and if you gain points, that is the bonus. Let us know final predictions in the chat. Who will win map 5, who will win map 6, and who will be the biggest point loser?
Loser, yeah.
Nice English.
I mean, it's safe to say that Papu will win this step if he stays in the top 8. But it's easier said than done. But because those are the tracks where the players have put the most practice into, you can perform a no slide actually. No, I was in the wrong section. But I mean, but we've seen different strategies here as well for this map, and it's definitely a map that is really punishes really hard when you make a mistake. And the first crucial section comes up now, because there you have a left turn where you have to hold your gear and exactly have to hold 220 speed to clear that jump. Or more. Pack had 224, survives it, but if you fail that, you will lose a tremendous amount of time. And look at Matt and Yannick's. Matt and Yannick's are dead and super far behind. So we already lost 2 people, Eric. 2 people are already dead here in this round. And 4.5 seconds towards the 8th position is definitely a huge gap that they have to clear, firstly.
Look at Pac though. Most people in chat is probably wondering about him, and he is around that sort of crucial spot, number 9, number 8. So Pac is a guy we should watch because he is the fan favorite in this chat, but he also has a lot of points that he can possibly lose.
There's a lot to lose. 43 points. That would be cruel if he loses his points, but it's still only 1 second between him and the first place. And look who's in first. Massa.
Yeah, nice bet, man. Nice bet.
Massa spam Scrappy. And then Papu. Dude, I said to Scrappy, of fun, if he wins this step, I'm gonna gift him 10 subs.
Okay.
Oh, damn it. Now
nice birthday gift to give away 10 subs.
Yeah. Indeed, man. I mean, I'm giving him to him, so I'm gifting my gift. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
That's
Okay.
what he said.
Let's see what Tween is doing, and you've mentioned that beforehand. You think that's... Oh, Massa! RIP! Massa is dead. Massa is toad.
Massa is Massa.
Yeah, Massa is Massa eventually. So Massa with the full flip there. And this was not good. As we see Tween on the other hand, finding this map a little bit better. Only 0.01 behind here and gets a good identity here. You can see he catches up. No, up to P7. So really greatly done. But look at this fight here for the top. Look at that. 0.5 between... 0.3 between the top 6. What a fight that is. Oh my god. Let's go into that. Let's see what Pac is doing here. We see 5 players ahead of him. Carl Jr. 600s. No, now I had 400s spam behind, then 1100s. Papu and Gwen is only 1800s behind. What a fight is that? Look at that. Look at that. What a fight here. Eric, are you still here? Hello.
I'm here, yeah. It's on my Discord. I just want to play some games. But this map is really fun, at least for the moment. It's really close. It's not like Papu. It's 8 seconds. above and make this boring.
Oh, I thought he clipped more, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just wanna. This is like what we wanna see. This is a close pack, and if you make one mistake, then you're gonna have a really hard time to catch up. I mean, Massa made a mistake. He's still 6 seconds behind, so I think it's GG for him.
Bren and Evon also dead. Pack P8. Carl Jr. Wait, what? What happened to Carl Jr.? No.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first.
No, Eric.
He's gonna lose points.
Oh my god. Oh man.
Like you. I
So-
predict the future.
Carl Jr. is 2.2 seconds behind, and on P12 he's about to lose 49 points, and also Aurel, Massa, Yannick and Riolu, all the players here with double-digit amount of points, are about to lose their points. So what a caster's curse that was.
It's not a casting curse, that's just an extremely good casting prediction. I didn't do anything besides predict it. So I know Trackmania. That's why MnM has hired me.
Yeah, look at this fight here for the top 8 actually. We see Pack right now actually fighting himself on P9. Then Riolu and Aurel are ahead of him. And only point 18, but Aurel with no speed here to work with. But you can clearly see Papu and Gwen also being ahead here. Only 1.5 seconds here between the 9 players here. That's such a high level here. You can just say that. And then we also see Scrappy, who has not fallen behind and is about to not lose his points. Pack has clipped there and loses an additional spot and is now down to P10. But then we have a huge gap between him and Carl Jr. So Carl Jr. will have a hard time here as we are on lap 4 out of 6 here.
That is the thing I brought up earlier, that this map seems to be hard to catch up in time if you make a mistake. So now we get a real testimony to see if that sort of statement was correct, because the best player in the world is 1.2 seconds behind number 8, and now he makes an additional mistake. So
no.
It's ripped.
Yeah.
And Eric Woldal shows why he is the Trackmania expert.
Yeah, so the assumption you just made has come true, but very soon actually. So Carl Jr. with a mistake here, and also Massa has dropped down, or Yannick just has played good, but we see a lot. You see 4 seconds and then up to place 12 downwards, 11 seconds of a deficit towards that 8th position. But the fight here for the top 8 is still hot, as we see Aurel right now being dead. And also the fight here, it is Gwen in the lead actually. Gwen ahead of Papu, but Papu still well in if Papu just keeps his points. And he is well in here. Then it is really good for him. He's actually challenging Gwen here. Great race from both of the players here, 221 speed. So this is looking good for Gwen. Clears that jump good. Papu did it good as well here.
Pack, SOS Pack.
Oh no, what happened to him?
He didn't make enough speed to the jump, so he clipped a little bit. He's not out of it totally, but he has now a really hard time to catch up. 1 second behind.
Indeed. Okay, let's follow Pack here for the last 2 laps. We have 2 more identities to come up here actually. And let's see how Pack will perform here in this identity. Looking like a good jump. Aurel is losing a little bit of speed. And also Riolu. Look at this identity from Pack. Really greatly done. And all of a sudden it's only 800ths of a second instead of 1 second. So Pack now coming closer here. Riolu with the no jump and the wiggles really gathers a lot of speed in this section. Greatly done by the Nordavin player. And also Gwen. Gwen is dead. Gwen is dead. And he is about to lose 21 points. This is not looking good for the gaming privé player. And no, all of a sudden it is Pack being in the top 8 again.
But Gwen is not out of it. One of the key points about Gwen is that he's super fast. Now he just has to risk it. It doesn't matter if he plays number 9 or number 16. It doesn't matter if he's 2 tenths behind number 8 or 20 seconds behind. So let's see if Gwen can risk it, because he certainly have the pace to actually catch up here.
Indeed, and he is doing it right now. Only the 3/10 of a second between him and the rest here. The top 8 Pack. Everyone clears that jump here. No one with a mistake. So this will be all in the end. Wait, Papu. Okay, I thought for him that he will drop down the ladder now, but that wasn't the case. Okay, Gwen losing slightly some time. And this ending. Look at this fight. I mean, all of them are in the top 8, but Gwen is just lurking here in the shadow and is waiting that someone is making a mistake. I'm gonna go with Riolu here, who's right now in 8th position. But who? Gwen made a mistake, and maybe it can be someone else, but no. Wait, back and forth. Who's gonna take it? It will be Riolu actually stay there So Afi has almost done it, but 0.5 of a second. And look at that. Spam won? What was that fight? Why didn't we spectate that? Spam, Scrappy, Papu. 1400ths of a second between them. What a close fight.
Yeah, that's the sort of quote-unquote problem with this format, that now it's more fun to see who eventually loses points and who is at the top. So sadly, we didn't really focus about the top battle there, but I guess you can rewatch it on another stream, because it was really close to actually who was losing points. And Carl Jr. now 5 points.
Yeah, minus 49 points. Massa also losing 33 points. Wow, what is going on? So now we have the last map coming up, and it's actually not. It is grim for Carl Jr. He has, I think he lost his points once, right? Before. In any team gym.
I think 2 times, yeah.
Yeah, and he is now dead. 5 points for Carl Jr. So this shows here that the level is higher as never before. And Papu is still in the lead. 82 points. Pack on P2 with 51 points. And then we have Spam in third with 45. Aurel and Scrappy behind. Riolo with 18 points. Bren with 17. And then Tween will sum it up here with 16 points. And all the other players, of course, have only single-digit amount of points because they have lost their points.
But boy, oh boy, Papu, 82 points. He can cross 100 points if he eventually wins this step. That is insane numbers.
Yeah, that's an insane number. So the maximum for a step is 132 points if you include the fastest time as well. And Papu has 82 points. I think we had that only once, right? That the player had over 100 points.
I also believe so. I tried to check it now on Trackmania Grand League's website, but that website is, living its own story, so it just shows playoffs. So I cannot really fact check it fast.
Yeah, I think it was actually Papu, if I recall that one correctly.
Yeah, step 5. I'm now looking at my own sort of notes. He had 104 points on step 5 in last season.
Yeah, he can make exactly those amount of points again, since if he makes 22 points, he's at 104 points. So maybe. We will find out now. This is the last map here. This is the last map of the first step. The warm-up has been ended, and now the quest is be in the top 8. Let's go. Let's spectate Pack for that first lap, Eric.
Let's see, Pack. No, he has a lot of points. It's scary to go in with a lot of points into this map, but it's now make or break. This is what the Ubisoft they wanted. They wanted to have put all the pressure on the shoulders. Eventually, you have to earn your points, as Softy B said. So let's see who will earn the points on this last map of step 1.
Alright, go Turbo. Yeah, indeed. Go Eric. We are going now with the cast, as Gwen is in the lead right now. And Pack finds himself in the top 8 spot as well. Riolo has fallen a little bit behind, 0.56 of a second. And then Massa as well. So both of the German players are occupying the last positions. Gwen looking unstoppable here on this for the moment, but the identity is coming up now. We have to switch the bridge. What is the map name as well? And yeah, you can see it now. I don't think that there will be so many mistakes happening here on this identity.
Janix is making a mistake.
Oops.
Nice.
Nice jinx here. So Matt and Janix are dead. P15 and 16 for them. And we also have Pack, who's getting attacked by Afi and Scrappy. Oh, everyone is winning. Pack with no speed in this part. And Pack down to P14. Oh, P15 I mean. And Pack, this is looking very grim for him. He's 3.5 seconds behind. No. This is not good. I have not seen, but I think he has clipped something there. But still, it is not a gap that he can't clear, since we are only in lap 2, but still not looking good for them. But you can see how close it is still after the second lap. It is only 1 second, or let's say, Pack with another mistake. 1.5 seconds here between P12 and the first place.
Let's see how strong mentally Pack is. Now he's putting, essentially now only one choice, and that is to go as fast as he can. He has essentially already lost a point, so if he can come back into the top 8, then he's sort of regaining a point. So nothing to lose now, Pack. It's just to risk it and then try to catch up. But Massa is also making a mistake, and
And
Paul
Spam as
Jr.
well.
behind.
Scrappy, Spam. Oh, look at that. So many people with big amount of points are right now in the lower 8. Scrappy, 35 points, would be dead. Spam winning the map beforehand, 45 points, would lose all the points. Riolu, 18 points. Pack, 51 points. Wow. And then we have Gwen, 4 points in first. Kappa, 2 points in second. They will be certainly very happy about that. Certainly will they be very happy about that.
And I saw someone in chat saying that they were disappointed in Kappa, but it seems like Kappa has once again shown that he's strong mentally, strong tactically, and he has essentially put all of his training into this last map, and then you're gonna gain points here, and if you place well here, you actually get the points that you earn on this map.
Yeah, indeed. And yeah, right now it is really cool to see that Kappa, because we have not really talked about him throughout the whole step, performing that well. Actually goes for the attack on Papu, but Papu with illegal lines here, going for wiggles, going for low jumps. That is so risky here, and Papu shows that he wants to surpass that 100 point threshold and even wants to go beyond that and set the fastest lap time. The fastest lap time, let's see who has that. We will see that here. It is Papu with the 110.76. Code Jr. had the second fastest lap, and then Spam with a 111.11. So also a very good time. 0.01, I mean, with a very good time here from Spam. Where is Spam? Spam is right now on P6 up again. So he has made some catch up. Really greatly done by him. And Pack is 6 seconds behind. So this is a very, very huge gap, Eric.
Yeah, Pack is not going to make it. It's over and GG, because there's too many players in front of him and there's way too many seconds. So sadly for Pack, it looks like he's going to lose 51 points.
Tween is dead. Tween P13. And Tween is dead here, and Riolu will capitalize from that, as well as Code Jr., who's there with 5 points. Seeing 5 points next to Code Jr.'s name on the last map. This looks wrong, man. This looks so wrong, and Code Jr. is definitely not. Oh my god, what is happening? Tween, Yannick's, and I think Scrappy as well, all with a mistake there, or it was someone else. So many mistakes have happened there because players are just risking it here in the lower 9 or in the lower 8 from 9 downwards. That's what I wanted to say. And all of a sudden, a Pack is on P12. So he is slightly gaining some positions, but still, it is a very hard gap that he has to gain. Or that he has to, a very hard catch-up that he has to do. Okay, I want to check. Okay, the battle here actually between Evon, Aurel, and Papu, and also Spam and Afi is intensifying, as Afi has a lot of speed in this section. Looking good for him. But Evon as well here, looking really strong right now on P2. And Aurel with a respawn, right?
Aurel respawn, he fell out of the map, so it's GG for him, and that is GG to the 41 points.
Yeah,
seems like.
And Aurel is also a bit lagging, as you can see there. So he's, unfortunately, you can't really spectate him.
But follow Scrappy though, he is the last player to lose points. He has 31 and 35 points, that is actually a lot of points.
Yeah, that's a lot of points. That brings you a very, very a big step further into the road to... Oh, what? Riolu? Road to the playoffs. And Riolu actually, with a mistake here, has lost 1.5 seconds going into the last lap already. So this is the last lap. Riolu has nothing to lose. But the gap is really, really big here, as we can see. 1.1 seconds between him and P8. Okay. Call Jr. P6 still, so he's not losing his points. But we only see 3 big names here with big points. I mean, in the top 8 by the name of Papu, Spam, and Scrappy. And then we have Pack, Aurel losing more than 40 points. So this is grim news for them.
Yeah, at the moment it seems like the positions are somewhat set in stone, at least the top 8. So unless people make a mistake, they should at least keep their points, and that is the most important thing now. And once you mentioned, there's a lot of single-digit scores up there at the moment, so surprising to see that.
Yeah, okay, so Kappa wins the last map here ahead of Afi, who's getting third. It is Papu with a good line here. Papu ahead of Spam. Wait, he's going for the drift. Papu went for the drift, and he thought we would have to play another round, and therefore Spam has overtaken him. So yeah, that was some wasted points by Papu there. And then we have Evon, Cow Jr., Gwen, and Scrappy win or not losing their points. And then Riolu, Pack, Yannick, Massa, Bren, Matt, Tweenet, Aurel losing their points. Oh man, so what an interesting first step. I definitely have to rewatch that, but it was all over the place. It was all over the place.
Too much happening for even two casters to keep up with everything. Yeah. Simply too much happening in Trackmania Grand League. That's what makes this fun, but also makes this unique.
But Pack with the fastest time though, so that's still something. He gets himself at least 5 points, so 5 plus 2 points, so 7 points. And as you said, he's a fast player, he can make it happen. But yeah, Papu wins step with 92 points ahead of Spam in second. Then Scrappy, Kappa, Afi, Cow Jr., Gwen, and Evon, who have not lost their points on the last track. And the others here on the right have unfortunately lost their points. So yeah, what a performance by Papu indeed.
What is the first thought after the step is over? What is your first reaction to it?
So really cool to see that Afi, Kappa, and Spam got a lot of points, because Kappa and Spam were struggling in this format. They were losing a lot of points, and especially Spam. 57 points for him. That is really, really good for him. And also surprising that Cow Jr. has only, quote-unquote, 13 points here in this step. And also Gwen only with 7 points. 7th place, I mean.
Yeah, good bet by me and you.
Yeah.
That's surprising to see, though, that the two of the biggest favorites are not up there. And actually, Kappa, as the guys I predicted to have a chance at winning this, essentially in the end was one of the guys that claimed the most amount of points. He once again showed how you can sort of cheat this system, not really performing well on the other maps, but he came back, he did a really good last map, and then he gets 22 points, and that is a good point to eventually get into your total score.
Indeed. Just too bad that Pack has lost his points as well as Massa, and Bren has gotten 41 points as well, right? Bren had, I think Bren had, no, Aurel had 41 points. Indeed, Aurel had 41 points, and that's what he lost. So yeah, the point system is still, yeah.
It's a story on its own, yeah.
Indeed.
But nothing we can do about it this season, so players have to live with it, we have to live with it, and they have to just make the best of it. And I think the smartest guy today is looking at just the tactics. I think Kappa is the one I want to address, but the performance by Papu is outstandingly good. That is one of the strongest performances I've ever seen in the Trackmania Grand League group stage, and once again he shows that he's not a guy to mess around with. And I'm curious to see if he's going to continue like this, because he is one of the full-time players. He's one of these guys that take this really serious, and today he benefited from that.
Indeed, what an impressive performance. And I think he's almost through already, because he has gotten himself 90 plus points. That is a really good performance, and I can't see Papu stop somewhere, you know. He's just playing.
Papu should, if this was an offline event, he should already book his flight tickets, but sadly it's just online, so I guess he just have to make sure that he's available on the playoff date.
Indeed. Yes, so it was a nice cast. Well, I had to get used to it a little bit more, because now I have a co-caster, the overlay, everything. It was really stressy before that, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. It will only get better from now on. We will look onto your feedback. You can also text us on Instagram or on somewhere, I don't know, on Twitter. Twitter to give suggestions. I mean, a lot of people are following me on Instagram actually, from the Trackmania people. And I've gotten
How many followers do you have?
I don't know, 350 or so.
Oh damn, man! I need to step up my Instagram game.
And
follow me on Instagram, and I will be the main guy to follow.
Yeah, so give us your feedback, because we are living from that, you know. And was a lot of fun casting with you. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah, and a pleasure to once again spend your birthday together with me. Or yeah, I tried to actually say that good, but I guess it didn't sound all good. But it's a pleasure to you wanted to spend your birthday together with me and the Trackmania community. So once again, enjoy the last 3 hours of your birthday, and see you once I have a birthday again, right?
Yeah, hopefully, man.
Yeah, we will be together next Sunday as well, right?
Yeah, of course, man. Definitely I'm there, and I'm hyped to cast with you. So yeah, the next step will be definitely a step where we see in which directions the player go. I mean, we've seen Tween maybe struggling a bit on the first maps, and also Bren really keen to see if he can keep it up and learn the tracks actually now from this week onwards.
Yeah, it's curious to see what I'm gonna try to talk with some of the players on my Trackmania live. I'm not gonna talk with everybody because that was hell of a mess, but I will try to keep with some key players, Papu of course, and then maybe Bren, Carl Jr. and Gwen as well, sorry.
Yeah, okay, but let's leave it at this part, and we're gonna see you next time again. Goodbye. Any last words?
No, just see me next Sunday. See you next Sunday.
Goodbye.